Stop ignoring your mental game. If you want to shoot lower scores, have more fun, and play to your potential, you can't keep ignoring the role of the mental game. Let's get into 50 proven mental golf tips that will help you take your game to the next level. If you're feeling doubt and indecision, step off and restart your routine. One of the reasons that most people get so mad, and I used to do this a lot, is because you just don't have the right expectations. Try and find 3 positives for the next shot. Number 1 is to visualize success. If you're out there and you're worrying about all the things you don't want to have happen, don't hit it in the water, don't hit it out of bounds, you're setting yourself up for failure. Make sure you're getting clear about what you want on every shot and visualize success. This happens in practice too. Jack Nicklaus once said that he would never hit a shot, even in practice, without having a clear picture of what he wanted. So make sure you're always visualizing success and focusing on what you want. Number 2 is to stay in the present moment. If you're worried about the 3-putt you just had in the past, or you're worried about that upcoming tee shot that gives you anxiety, you're setting yourself up for failure. You have to focus on the present moment and hit the shot that's right in front of you. Don't let your mind wander to the past or to the future. Number 3 is to develop a pre-shot routine. A pre-shot routine is one of the fastest ways to help you play better golf and master your mental game. A good routine will help get your mind and body ready for every single shot. To get started with your routine, make sure to download my free pre-shot routine checklist by going to this URL or clicking the link in the description. The 4th mental game tip is to have positive self-talk. Now, I'm not saying you have to sound like Tony Robbins out there, but we want to make sure that we're positive and not negative. If you're walking around saying, I suck, I'm the worst putter, and all these other negative things, you're making golf so much harder on yourself. Number 5 is to set realistic goals. Now, I'm all for dreaming big, but if you have goals like never 3-putt again or never miss a fairway, it's probably not going to happen. So you want to set 2 kinds of goals. You want to have your big picture outcome goals, and then you want to have your process goals on how you can actually make them happen. For example, if you want to add 15 yards to your driver, that's a good outcome goal. The process goals to make that happen might be speed training 3 times a week. It might be getting a lesson. It might be working with a trainer a couple times a week. You got to have outcome goals and then processes to make them happen. Number 6 is to control your breathing. The problem is that when we get nervous and under pressure, we stop breathing regularly. When that happens, our mind goes into fight or flight mode. That is absolutely a round killer because it's going to add more tension. You're not going to be able to swing like you normally do, and you're not going to be able to make good decisions either. So keep breathing throughout the round, especially before really tough shots where you might feel a little bit of nerves. Go through your routine and make sure you have a good breath before you walk into every shot. Number 7 is to focus on the process, not the outcome. So many of us want to hit these great shots. We want to shoot in the 70s, but you got to focus on the process to make them happen. Just like having good goals, you got to have a good process. So we want to make sure to focus on our pre-shot routine step by step to get the results that we want. Yes, I want you to hit every fairway, hit every green, make every putt. It's just not going to happen though. So instead of worrying about the outcome, focus on the process. Stick to a good routine and be more process oriented, and you're going to have better results. Number 8 is to practice mindfulness. When you're mindful, you're able to focus more, you're going to improve your concentration, and you're probably not going to get as mad to some of those bad shots. So some of the things I do for mindfulness are daily meditation. I'll go for some long walks without technology and just kind of zone out and be thinking about other things. And I like to journal as well. So make sure to do things to get mindful off the course so you can show up better on the course. The 9th mental game tip is to learn from your mistakes. We're always going to make mistakes in golf, but the good players learn from them. So if you're always playing one hole particularly bad, learn from it and maybe change your target, change your club selection, or change your mindset for that hole. We have to learn from our mistakes every single round so you can start playing better golf fast. Number 10 is to stay positive, which is really hard to do for a lot of golfers, but you have to develop a crazy optimistic attitude on the course. You have to imagine that the next shot could be your best shot ever. You have to maintain a positive attitude even when things aren't going your way. I see so many golfers in these tournaments I play in just shut down after a bad hole or a bad stretch of holes. You have to be able to bounce back quickly, and that all starts by maintaining a positive attitude. Develop a crazy optimistic attitude, and it's going to help you on and off the course. Number 11 is to embrace pressure. Pressure really is a privilege. So when it happens, maybe you're in a member or a club championship, you feel some pressure, embrace it. That's why you practice, that's why you play, and that's why you enter into competitive events. So go through it and say, yes, I'm excited for this pressure. And then go through your routine, focus on the shot, and stick with the rest of these mental golf tips, and you're gonna have more fun by embracing that pressure. Number 12 is to use mental rehearsal. Before the round, mentally rehearse some shots that you're maybe worried about, or even the night before a tournament, go through in your mind and play out the shots that you're gonna hit. Imagine the clubs you're gonna hit, imagine where the pins might be, imagine yourself mentally rehearsing the round, so that way when you get to the course, it feels like you've already done it. That way it's not going to feel as foreign, you're not going to be as nervous, and you're probably going to play better. The 13th mental game tip is to stay hydrated and nourished throughout the round. You got to snack consistently and make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and if you're playing in the summer, add in some electrolytes as well, because if you get dehydrated, you get dumb. Seriously, studies have found that you're just not able to make as good of decisions when you're dehydrated, and you and I both know to play your best golf, we have to be thinking properly. So make sure that we're drinking plenty of water and electrolytes before, during, and after the round. Number 14 is to play for bogey or better. When you're out of position, always ask yourself this question: how can I make bogey or better? The problem is that when you miss fairways too often, a lot of us go into hero mode and we want to save the day and hit this miraculous recovery shot. But that usually just leads to a double bogey or worse. So instead, get yourself back in position, try to save par, and if you make bogey, it's not the end of the world. Number 15 is to accept what you can't control. Look, there's a lot of things that are gonna happen that are out of our control on the course. You can hit a perfect drive and it ends up in a fairway divot, but you have a choice. Do I react negatively to it, or do I just accept it and move on? You have to embrace these challenges that golf is going to throw at you, so that way you have that attitude and mindset that we've already talked about, so you're optimistic and you're setting yourself up to hit a good next shot. Stop whining and start embracing the challenges this game brings. The 16th mental tip is to take it one shot at a time. Again, we love to time travel out there. We love to go back to the past or into the future, especially when you're playing well. So when you are playing well, a lot of us go, if I just make par, 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 I can shoot 79 for the first time, or I can break 90 for the first time. That is a failing formula. You have to stay present, one shot at a time, and literally tell yourself that, hey, I'm focused on this one right here. Wear a rubber band, snap it back when you find yourself drifting to the future. When you're playing well, snap yourself back to reality and get back to the present moment. The next mental golf tip is to have a post-round journal. Now, this is something I've done where I always write down at least 3 to 5 good shots after every round, even the worst rounds, so that way I can remind myself of some positive memories. Billy Mayfair, who's won millions of dollars on the PGA Tour and was a guest on my podcast, also said the same thing. Have a journal in your car, write down good shots, write down stuff after practice, so that way you have a golf-specific journal and you can remember all the good shots you hit. Number 18 is to visualize your ideal ball flight. So again, visualization is key, but really think about the ball flight itself. You can do this a few different ways. I use the mental golf type system to kind of figure out how I'm hardwired, but for me, I like to think of target zone. So I like to think about kind of where the ball is going to end up. It might be between the flag and the right side of the green, for example. Other people like to think of it like a shot tracer. Other people like to think of a ball flight that is like going through a little pane of glass right in front of it, kind of like if you're watching the big break. Everyone's different, but figure out your visualization style and imagine that ideal ball flight so you can get your mind mentally ready for every swing. The 19th mental game tip is to manage your expectations. One of the reasons that most people get so mad, and I used to do this a lot, is because you just don't have the right expectations. For example, did you know that scratch golfers only hit about half of fairways and 56% of greens on average? So if you're out there and you're thinking, I have to hit 10 fairways and I have to hit 14 greens, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because even the pros don't put up those numbers on average. Have the right expectations, especially for your handicap level, and I guarantee it's going to help you have more fun and play better because you're not putting so much extra pressure on yourself. The 20th mental game tip is one that I really struggle with, guys, and that is keeping your emotions in check. Now, I like to think I'm a little better, but I'm in my late 30s. I should be even better about it. But you have to keep your emotions in check. If you're throwing clubs, slamming clubs, just getting super Hulk-like angry on the course, it's really tough because you're going to have a huge spike in your brainwaves. You're going to be stressed. Your heartbeat's going to be racing. You're going to get into fight or flight mode, and it's going to be really hard to calm down by the time you get to that next shot. So it's okay to be a little disappointed, but we can't have these huge spikes because it's going to mentally drain you, and it's going to be really tough to hit a good next shot. The 21st tip is to practice under pressure. So the problem is that we practice when it's at the driving range, there's no pressure, there's nothing at stake, and then we go to the course and then we obviously have pressure, and then even more pressure if you get into tournaments. So you have to practice the right way. You can do that by competitive practice, where you actually do some exercise. Maybe you do 10, 15 jumping jacks, and then you get up and hit a shot so that way your heart rate is elevated. You can do it where you're challenging a friend in practice, maybe betting in it. You want to do something, though, to have some practice with purpose, where there's competition in it, so that way hopefully you're kind of getting yourself ready to what it's going to be like on the golf course. Number 22 is to stay committed to your shot. If you're over the golf ball and you're like, you know what, I should have grabbed 7, or I'm not sure this is the right target, back off. You have to be committed to your shot. I talked about pre-shot routine already, but a good part of a routine is really committing to your target and the club selection. So please make sure you're committed to every single swing. If you're feeling doubt and indecision, step off and restart your routine. The 23rd tip is to use a mantra. I love having something I can just repeat to myself throughout the round. A lot of people use "I got this" or "I am the greatest." You can use whatever mantra works for you, but have it be 3 to 4 words and always start with "I." That way you're more likely to remember it. It's going to be speaking directly to your subconscious, and that's why you hear a lot of people say, "I am great, I am clutch, I am consistent." Whatever works for you, but find something that's easy to repeat so you can do it, especially in pressure-packed moments, and it's just giving yourself a little bit of positive reinforcement. The next tip is to understand your tendencies. My game is different than yours, and it's different from your buddies, and it's different from someone else. So we have to know how we play our best and really know our tendencies. You got to know your swing. You got to know what happens to you maybe under pressure. For example, if you're always leaving putts short under pressure, you got to remind yourself to hit it a little bit further. Or if you get really jacked up when you have some adrenaline and you're hitting it a club further, you got to know your tendencies and dial back when you're feeling that pressure and adrenaline. Make sure to favor your strengths under pressure and get to know your game. Stop trying to play like anybody else. The 25th tip, now that we're halfway through this mental golf series, nice job sticking with me if you're still here, is to make sure and take regular breaks in practice. The problem is most guys are just rapid firing, just dragging golf ball after golf ball, trying to see how quickly they can hit a large bucket. This is a failing formula. Our mind really needs time to refresh, recharge, and when you're trying to make swing changes, it needs even more rest. So try and take short little breaks after every 5 to 7 shots. That way you're going to be rejuvenated, you're going to be 100%, and you're not going to develop any bad habits. Number 26 is to practice visualization daily. Every single day, carve out 5 or 10 minutes and visualize how you want to be on the golf course. Imagine how you're walking, how you're talking, how you're engaging with your competitors, what you do after a bad break, what you do after a good shot. Visualize exactly the golfer you want to become so you can reset your self-image and start to be that golfer a little bit better every single day. Number 27 is to stay flexible in your plan. I am a big proponent of having a plan for how you want to play the round and how you want to play every single hole. But you got to be flexible. If you have some wind, maybe you're not feeling good that day, your body's sore, you got something coming up, you got to stay flexible with it. So don't feel too rigid, but I also think having a plan for how to attack holes, especially if you're playing in a tournament, is going to be key to getting the most out of your mental performance. Number 28 is to improve your body language. If you're walking around pouting all day, you are signaling weakness to your mind. Please carry yourself like a champion. Walk like a champ. Do not put your head down, shoulders down. You're signaling weakness, and you're not going to make golf any easier. With the right self-talk and the right body language, you're setting yourself up for success on every single swing. Your body language should be so good that if I was a hole across from you, I have no idea whether you're 5 under or 20 over. Carry yourself like a champion. It'll make a massive difference. Number 29 is to develop a routine for bad shots. That's right, bad shots are going to happen no matter how good you get. So what I do after I hit a bad shot, when I'm in my pose, I will literally say, "That's disappointing." Instead of going, "I suck," or throw a club or slam a club or anything else I could do, I just say to myself, "That's disappointing." Now figure out what works for you, but you got to learn how to respond to bad shots because, like I said, they're inevitable. No matter how good you get, you're going to hit bad drives, bad irons, bad short game, bad putts. So it's going to happen. Make sure you're prepared for it. The 30th mental game tip is something I actually led my book, Wicked Smart Golf, off with, and that's to practice gratitude. The entire first section of my book is have an attitude for gratitude. This is so key because we have to remember we should be grateful to play golf. We should be grateful that we have the money, we have the time, we have the abilities to get to play this great game. Practice gratitude, have that appreciation for this great game, and you're going to play better. What I do on the first tee off is when I'm, looking out before when other guys are teeing off, I'll spend 15, 20 seconds and just be like, man, I'm so lucky to be here. Because the truth is, you are lucky to play golf. You are lucky enough to have that health and money to make it happen. So be grateful. It's going to help your attitude a ton. Number 31 is to learn relaxation techniques. You got to learn how to stay relaxed and loose on the course. If you're very tense, it's going to limit your ability to hit good golf shots. I highly recommend reading the book GYRA Golf. There's so many ways in there to master your ability to get relaxed and help you with a ton of on-course techniques. I had the author of the book, Dr. Izzy Justice, on my podcast, one of my favorite episodes, and highly recommend you read GYRA Golf so you can learn how to stay loose and relaxed. Number 32 is to focus on the target. Stop playing golf swing and start playing golf when you're out there. So many guys are working on mechanics. It's not the time to do it when you're on the course. Save that for the driving range. When you're on the course, focus on your routine and your target. That's it. Number 33 is to stay patient. They always say patience is a virtue. I'm still trying to learn that virtue myself sometimes, but you got to be patient. You don't always have to get off to a hot start to play a great round. Case in point, in 2023, I had a very lackluster front nine. I had one birdie, one bogey, even par, which for me at that course wasn't anything special. I even hit one in the water, but made a good par save with it. But I ended up going low on the back nine and shot a 31. So I was able to stay patient. So please don't feel like you have to get off to a hot start to play great golf. Sometimes you just got to get warmed up, feel the speed of the greens out, and just remember, greatness can strike even later in the round. Number 34 is to avoid comparing your game to anyone else's. Golf is an individual sport. Stop comparing where you're at in your journey to someone else's journey. If you think you're trying to compare yourself to me or anyone else you follow on YouTube or anyone else's podcast, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because nobody has the same experience that you do. So please only compare yourself to your former self. This is 2024. I think about where I was in 2022, 2020, 2018. I only compare myself to my previous self. It's okay to have people you want to be like, but just remember it's a 100% individual sport and never compare yourself to anyone else. Number 35 is to stay confident. Even if you get off to a bad, slow start, you have to use all the mental tips we've talked about and the ones we will still talk about to stay confident. You can't let a bad first hole or a bad shot early in the round or an early 3-putt derail your confidence. If you have the right optimism and you have the right attitude, you're going to be able to stay confident, which will help you score your best even later in the round. Number 36 is to learn your mental golf type. If you have not checked out mental golf type yet, I can't recommend it enough. I became certified using this method as a mental golf coach, and it helps you create a plan based on how you're hardwired. You're one of 16 unique personality types, which means you're going to have some specific tips that will cater to how you are hardwired. So make sure to check out mental golf type. The link will be down in the description, and it will definitely help you figure out exact tips to cater your mental advice to how you're hardwired. Number 37 is to embrace the challenge. You know what? We're going to get a lot of challenges on the course. You're going to miss greens, and instead of walking up there and being like, I hope I get this up and down, or I can't believe I missed the green, embrace the challenge. Think about it like, this is a time to show off my short game. This is a time where I can get it up and down. Maybe I'm even going to chip it in. When you embrace the challenges that you're going to face, maybe you hit a good shot and it ends up in a fairway divot. Maybe you hit a good shot, but it ends up being kind of under a tree. Embrace those challenges. It's going to switch your mindset from, oh my God, this is so bad, and whining about it, to how can I get out of this situation? And when you ask yourself the right questions, your mind will absolutely help you out, and embrace those challenges, because a lot of times you're going to be focused and you're usually going to hit really good shots. Number 38 is to practice your pre-shot routine. I'm all for developing your routine, but we got to practice it so that way it actually shows up for you on the golf course. That means at the driving range, what I'll do some days is take a small bucket, not a large one, and I will go through my full routine on every single swing. I will go behind the ball, I'll take my practice swings, I'll take my breath, I'll walk into the shot, I'll do 2 looks, I'll do my waggle, and then I will hit the shot. And then I will go back and I will do that for every single ball. The more you can time your pre-shot routine so it's consistently under 8 seconds or less when you're standing over the golf ball, the more consistently you're gonna hit fairways, greens, and make putts. So dial in your routine, make it consistent with timing, 8 seconds or less. Read the book, Golf's 8 Second Secret if you haven't, and then that way it's going to show up for you on the course so you can play more consistent golf. Number 39 is to do a little brain dump before the round. So in a golf journal, write down anything that you might be feeling. A lot of times we get so in our head before a round, especially a big round, that we're just mentally cluttered. So do a little mental decluttering. Write down maybe swing thoughts, maybe doubts, fears, goals, anything you want. Just get it out of your head so that way you can really clear your mind and be ready for the round. Number 40 is to stay organized. Make sure your bag has everything organized the right way. If you're trying to figure out where your rangefinder is or where the batteries are, or if you have this supply or that supply, you're going to be a little stressed, a little flustered, and it's just going to make golf harder. So be organized, have your stuff laid out the day before or night before, have stuff ready to go that morning. Make sure you got, food, coffee, drinks, anything else you need to bring. Stay organized. It's just going to make your mind a little less stressed so that way you can focus on golf and save your energy for the course. Number 41 is to trust the swing, okay? You can't be out on the course worrying about your swing. You got to trust it. And if you don't trust it, spend more time at the driving range, get a lesson, buy a training aid, do something so that way you develop more trust. Number 42 is to learn how to accept bad shots. Like I said, they're going to happen, but are you accepting them or are you still trying to fight them? I remember I was playing in a tournament once and this guy had an unfortunate break on the second hole, but it happens, right? It's golf. He talked about it the rest of the round. It was so annoying and he ended up playing awful. Even the next day he was talking about it. And I remember when he said it to me the next day, I said, "Are you still talking about this?" It doesn't help. Stop whining, accept bad shots, and embrace the challenge like we talked about earlier. It's gonna happen, so stop worrying about them so much and focus on problem solving and knowing that it's part of the game. Bad shots or bad luck's gonna happen off the course, it's gonna happen on the course too. Accept it and move on. Number 43 is to use the 3P approach that I learned from GYRA Golf. So after a bad shot, or really after any shot, try and find 3 positives for the next shot. So for example, let's say I hit a terrible shot, it's in the bunker, and then I go into the 3P solving mode. I say, okay, what are 3 positives? 1, my bunker game's been really good today. 2, I have plenty of green to work with. 3, the lie is really good. When you have positivity like this, when you go through the 3P approach, you're basically forcing yourself into positivity, which is going to help you get out of that dread and doubt you might have and hopefully hit a better shot. Number 44 is to have one simple swing thought. You don't want a bunch of swing thoughts when you're out there. Have something super simple. For me, I like to always have good tempo. That's an easy one that I can remember. It's going to help with my rhythm, my timing, and it's exactly what I'm working on in practice a lot of the time. So have one simple swing thought, it'll transform your game. Number 45 is to try out hypnosis. I know a lot of people are terrified of this and don't really understand it, but when you realize that hypnotherapy is how you retrain your subconscious mind, which is responsible for anywhere from 90 to 95% of everything, every decision we make every single day, it'll really have a huge impact in your life. I've used hypnotherapy for golf, I've used hypnotherapy for other things I've tried to improve in my life, and it's made a massive difference. So yes, mindfulness and meditation are important, but don't be afraid to try out self-hypnosis and learn more about it because it really can have a profound effect on your mental game. Number 46 is to use technology wisely. We have a lot of amazing tech that we can use on the course now, but don't let it derail your round. If you're always on your phone and you're looking at social media and then you're on this app and then you're doing this, you're just not making golf any easier. Save the phone for off the course, have a digital detox out there, and don't get bogged down during the round with technology. I'm all for using launch monitors and all kinds of other gadgets in practice. It's great to make more effective sessions, but don't get so worked up with technology during the round that you're just not focused on being present. Number 47 is to think about the golf course like a spa. This is also something I learned from Dr. Izzy Justice because he said that when you think about it like a spa and you use your 5 senses throughout the round, you're actually calming your mind down. When you do that, you're gonna play a lot better golf. So really think about all the things you can look at, the sights, the smells, the sounds. Think about your 5 senses. It's a direct gateway to your mind and will help you stay more relaxed so you can play better golf. The 48th mental game tip is to get plenty of sleep. If you're not sleeping a ton, it's gonna make golf even more difficult. So prioritize sleep so that way you can improve your ability to make good decisions on the course. You're well rested, you're not cranky, you don't have to depend on too much caffeine, and that way again you can focus on playing your best golf. Number 49 is to always fight until the finish. I don't care how good or bad you're playing, run through the finish line. I had a coach say one time to think about golf like 21 holes. That way when you're on the 18th hole, you're still staying aggressive and you're still fighting until the finish. So please do not ever quit, physically or mentally. Fight until that final putt is down. The 50th mental golf tip is to work with a mental golf coach. I love helping players of all different skill level improve their game. So if you want to learn more about working together, shoot me an email, michael@wickedsmartgolf, to learn more about mental golf coaching. So that way we can figure out how to get out of your own way, play better, and have more fun every single round.